They say art imitates life. I don't believe it, so I creatively write. See, I'ma tell you like it sure enough is. I'm the red-headed gypsy with some goddamn sense. I left my home in Texas, headed for the Frisco Bay. I've been resting my bones, watch the tides roll away. Pimps, 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 pimps patrol the scene. Hippies, 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 hippies hiding the brain. It's all kind of people doing all kind of things. What works for you may not work for the next man. I'ma tell you like it sure enough is. I'm gonna give it to you straight. It's coming straight from the hill. You're watching Southern Redhead Redfoxx Reviews. Enjoy the commentary, but pardon my views. So, let's get into it. Today we will be reviewing Force. It's a part of the Power Universe, and it airs on Sundays at 7 p.m. And currently, I am going to review episode 1. And this particular episode is called Short Fuse and Long Memory. So, let's get started. So, I just wanted to touch on the theme song, which is called Power, Powder, and Respect. It's rapped by 50 Cent and it's sang by Jeremiah. I already can tell you now, I love the song. Power and powder, respect. I want the money, power and powder, respect. So, gotta get the hang of it because it's relatively new, but I really do like that. So, let's delve into it. For starters, we know that this show is centered around Tommy Egan, who has departed New York en route to California. He's revved up his blue Mustang and he's on his way to California. And along the way, he stopped at a fork in the road where the sign reads Chicago and Lansing. We know Lansing is in Michigan. And so he chooses to veer toward Chicago. So now we get a full understanding of what is the connection between Chicago and Tommy as it relates to him being a New Yorker. Who knows? But once he arrives in town, he gets to his grandmother's house. So now we know he has family in Chicago. And he arrives at this residential property. He parks his car and he's met by a Hispanic guy. As of now, I'm just going to call him Hispanic. I want to say Mexican, but I'm not so very sure if he's Mexican or not. So I'm going to say Hispanic until the show unfolds more and I can get a full understanding of the character. So this Hispanic guy is like bamming on his hood. And I'm saying to myself, come on now. You don't know like I know, because I know Tommy don't play that. Okay? So you might want to stop touching this car like that. So Tommy jumps out and the guy lets him know, hey, you can't park here because I'm the tax man. You need to pay me a fee. So here we go. Tommy don't play that. So he and the guy, they have a little quarrel. The Hispanic guy pulls out a knife. Tommy pulls out his strap. And old boy bags up. I'm going to let you make it today. I'm going to let you make it because I ain't strapped. But next time you come, you want to pay me. Tommy like, whatever. And so he said, hey, what's up with the lady in the house? And he was like, oh, when did she die? And he was like, she's not dead. She's at Mulhern's. Mulhern's. And so the scene ends there, and then Tommy arrives. And he arrives at Mulhern's to find that it's his grandmother, and she's in a convalescent home. So Tommy has stopped in Chicago to visit his grandmother. The next scene, we get to Diamond. Diamond is incarcerated, And at this time, he is cutting someone's hair, this old man's hair. And he's taking his time. And the old man says to him, you need to, pretty much, he's just, talking to him while he's getting his hair. He said, you need to buzz and bounce. What you waiting for? He was like, you act like you don't have the whole world awaiting for you. Hurry up and cut my hair and go into the world and be a free man and never to return again. And so Diamond says to him, hey, I'm choosing to make sure this is a good cut because I need this cut to last you. So I thought that was very thoughtful for him to ensure that he gave him the best haircut he could ever receive from him because he knows that he will never see him again. So he has the expectation to never return or in hopes to never return. But he wants him to know that you need to hurry up, buzz, and bounce and get up out of here. So he exits the barbering area and he hands the CO the barbering kit and things like that. And he walks to his cell. And there's a group of gentlemen, very fair skinned. And I want to say they're Hispanic also. And they whisper amongst each other, no, we're going to let them leave. We're going to let them ride. We're going to let them get home and get comfortable. And then we're going to get them then. So that lets us know that trouble is ultimately awaiting Diamond when he gets home. It's just we don't know when or how. So that is a concern right there. That I know that Diamond is exiting the penitentiary and every person that goes to jail never wants to return. But it's sad to see that someone's going to ensure that something bad happens to you or you may have to retaliate, or I guess it could very well be payback for something. So we'll just have to see how the show unfolds to ensure that Diamond stays safe and doesn't anything ever happens to him that will make it liable for him to wind back where he is. So again, upon leaving the jail, he's checking out and there's a CO and they give him his stuff, his belongings. And he has these nice Jordans, these nice J's. And the guy says, man, oh, these are cool. He said, you can have them. He said, these will go well on StockX. And I know about StockX. I actually saw these. I want some red and white Converse, old school dope man Nikes. I really been wanting some of their on there. And they are expensive. So the guy was letting him know, man, I can get a pretty penny for these off of this website. But of course, Diamond doesn't know. He's been locked up for 15 years. So upon exit of, he leaves him with the shoes, and he also leaves him with his barbering. Well, no, he leaves him with the shoes, and the CEO gives him his barbering kit. I thought that was a nice gesture as well. And so he leaves, and his brother's picking him up, Jannard. Jannard is there to pick up his brother who has done 15 years. And the first thing he says is, somebody get down on you? Yeah. Where your shoes at? He said, no, bro. Hold on. No, that's not the case. I gave them to someone. And before they can enter into the vehicle, Diamond, he stops in this puddle of water and he puts his hand in and he touches it. He was like, what's up with you touching the water? It don't rain or snow up in there? He said, no, it just feels different. It just feels different. And I can just imagine. I've never did any time, never. And just to touch, the smell, to feel, to hear particular sounds after you've been locked up for so long could be just, soothing for the soul, But just him touching that puddle of water, that was happiness for him just to know he could touch some water that's not behind those bars. So right there, they exit and they leave, and then the scene goes to a bar which is titled, and it has on the marquee and the signage, Dr. Parker's Office. Very interesting name, Dr. Parker's Office. And so here, Tommy is parked. on the side of the street beside his, he stands outside in front of his vehicle, his Mustang, and another car drives up. Two guys jump out and they argue about, hey, you need to move your vehicle. Tommy's at this bar having a drink and a smoke. And then, they bicker about that. And I'm not moving because Tommy's a hothead and you just ain't going to be able to tell him what you want him to do. And so there's one other guy that still remains in the vehicle. And then he gets out and he words things differently to where it can be well received. And that way, the other two gentlemen, which happen to be Simon and Vic, Vic is the son of Walter Flynn, which is the Irish family. So he would be the descendant head of the Flynn family's mob family. So outside is Tommy and the guy that remained in the vehicle, and they just talk about different things. And then the next scene, it leaves from there and they're having a little banter, but then it goes into the Flynn household. And Claude, she is Walter Flynn's daughter. And Claude is sitting in her dad's chair in his office. I love vintage architecture, interior design, anything vintage. I just love it and adore it. And so I'll describe this with, it's very historical. It has a lot of cherry wood in there. And it's a really, and it's actually very, very dark at the same time. And Claudia is sitting in her dad's chair. And her dad enters and walks in. And dad says, hey, you're sitting in my chair. And you're drinking my best scotch. So at this point, you can just tell that dad is observing and noticing that my daughter has high hopes of potentially advancing her role in the family, because right now her position is to man and manage all of the legal business, okay? And Vic, his job is to follow in his father's footsteps. So we get back to the Dr. Parker's office, which is a bar where Tommy is. And the Irish fellow of the Flynn family who spoke nicely to Tommy, gave him a card with his name and information. He said, hey, you never told me your name. Tommy said, I didn't throw it. And so he said, yeah, where you coming or going? He say, I don't know what I want to do. And then the guy says, well, it's a wise choice that you leave instead of pissing off the Flynn family. And so you don't want to stick around Chicago to find out. So this fellow is encouraging Tommy to leave, to flee the city. And, Tommy, he remembers everything. He's very witty. He's very observant. Can't outfox Tommy. That's why I always like him. You cannot outfox Tommy. And so that scene ends. And it goes back inside of the bar where Vic is there making a pickup. And he's having a conversation with Gloria. Gloria owns the bar. It looks as though she may be biracial. She has dark black hair and it's very curly. Could be of Indian descent, Hispanic, could be mixed with black, white. I'm very unsure, and I guess that will unfold soon. And Vic and Gloria are having a conversation. And you could tell and know that Vic is in love with Gloria. But in the Irish family, you cannot, date outside your race, and especially marry, and you're a male. The expectation is for you to have a son, for them to kind of be the heir to the family. So how dare Vic engage in a relationship with a woman who's not of Irish descent? So they have that conversation. And Vic says he's ready to reveal to the family that he wants to be with Gloria. So that's a separate plot in itself that that Vic is battling his heart is with Gloria. He wants to be with her, but she's not Irish. Moving along, Simon is in the club, and he gets drunk. He's a drunkard. We see that already, and he's supposed to be the muscle. So I have some issues with him, as we can see already. And Simon is arguing with a lady about a drink, and they're having this little banter. And Gloria goes over, because this is her club, her bar, and states that you need to lay off of her. And he tries to muscle up and things like that. And she says, hey, you're nothing but an errand boy and a bag man. So Simon is kind of viewed as an errand boy and a bag man. Then Gloria goes to the kitchen, and then Simon exits the bar and he goes out back. And he's on the phone. And at that time, he's on the phone, his back is turned, and he's facing the wall so that he can do something in confidence and in private. And he's snorting coke. So we know now that Simon has a habit. And he's on the phone and he's having a conversation stating, long as the powder is white and the money green. 3 a.m. And so we know now that it appears to be a drop, or they're organizing a pickup, or, about to hit a lick, anything of that sort. But they're discussing money, drugs, and things like that. So because Tommy was in the club at this time, because Vic has left, told Simon to watch after Gloria because he's in love with her. Simon remains. He gets into it with the lady. Then he's all drunk and loaded. Then, so Tommy's observing. He's paying very close attention. And Tommy also has his eye on Gloria. So he's been a very, very nice, mannerable guy right now. And so after Gloria has to have that little conversation with him about, you're nothing but an errand boy and a bag boy, Tommy observed it, and he kind of goes outside where Simon's doing things in private. And it is then where he gives him a good beat down. You know what I'm talking about? And so and it results in, it appears that it results in a fatality, and it's not Tommy. And so here we have it. What happens after this fatality? Tommy gets his phone and his money. Yeah. So now Tommy is in Chicago with the Irish mom's muscles phone. Now keep in mind, Tommy only came to Chicago to visit his grandmother. Now he done came up. That's what you call coming up. He done came up because now he got the phone. If anybody know anything about your Tommy, know how to get some money. That's one thing about him. So now he has the phone, and he opens the phone, and I think it was a flip, or was it a touchscreen? But he gets in the phone, and there's a text in there that says that there's a meeting and information about a drop, and then the scene goes into he's having intercourse with Gloria. So now Tommy's banging Gloria. Vic's in love with Gloria. Vic's a part of the Flynn family, and hey, we're in for a rude awakening. I see that sticking out. So now, Claudia, which is Walter Flynn's daughter, Vic's sister, he only has 2 children. Walter only has 2. The Flynn family. And so Claude goes to the club. And it's very upscale. It's very posh. It's very dark and mysterious. But it gives you that it's upscale. The music playing. And it appears to either be pop or techno. But the music is playing. And she walks up to this black lady. and hey, we've been waiting on you. And then this guy appears, and he hands her a drink and tells her to sip slowly. This is from my grandfather's private distillery out of Moscow. So Claudia's in the club feeling herself, but she's drinking on a friend and acquaintance of hers liquor that's from Moscow. So that lets me know that she knows Russians. Hey, Claudia's on the scene. When you're on the scene and in the mix, you know you have a tendency to know people, know network, do you do, or whatever. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds. That Claudia, she's kind of connected. She be on the scene, she parties, she gets on her level and on her page and do what she do. And then after that, and he tells her to sip it slowly, but she refuses because she's just in her feelings anyway about her father and the things he's been saying to her lately. And in her head, she's thinking about she would like to be the head and run the business, you know. So she's trying to let her hair down and hang, and you know. And so she approaches this lady, and they begin to dance. Kind of gives you lady on lady type of dancing. And at that time, the lights are dim, but they're like flickering. And the lady that Claudia walks up to gives her some cocaine, some powder. Let me take that back. Don't know what it is. In this day and age, there's so many different things out there. You just don't know. But she commences to snorting it. So it's a powdery substance. And then Claude, she snorts it. And then the scene goes to the lady's penthouse, who she meets and dances with at the club. And they continue to indulge in drugs and snort them off of each other's body. And they're just having a good time. A beautiful penthouse. You know, everything's kind of posh, and you know, so hey, that's the life of Claudia. And then so they're indulging in sex and escapades with the drug, and they're constantly doing the drugs and so forth. And then after they're done, you could just tell that they're relaxed and they're just having a little conversation. And Claudia says, "Man, this drug is amazing." While drinking water. Do you know any? Can you get some more of that? And then the scene closes. So you can tell there that Claudia's kind of networking. So we got to keep our eyes on Claudia. Claudia found a new product. Claudia's trying to get in it, get in the game. So that's the status of that. So next, we go to the scene where Tommy is in the bed with Gloria. She already made him some peppered pot soup at the club. So she has a little kitchen in the back and stove. And so what I'm finding, you know, these clubs, they have kitchens, of course. And sometimes they'll, you know, cook food and things like that. But I make mention of that because in the Midwest, that's a very common thing for the little bars and clubs to have kitchens in the back and they serve food. So I researched the peppered pot soup, and that is a soup that's made of tripe. Do your research on tripe. I don't like it, but people do. And where I am, in my region, they eat tripe fried and boiled. In Texas, it's like, I think in menudo. So they're having sex. They're back at Gloria's house, and after they're done, he notices some military gear or something, and he asks about her husband, and she said he was deployed and she's never seen him again. So, and then she asks him, he asks her, "Would you ever consider marriage again?" She said, "Sure." So we have a little love scene going on with Tommy. Tommy shows up in Chicago, and now he has a little female friend, and they're having conversations about marriage. We know Tommy has a soft heart. He has a soft spot for women from the original Power. And then all of a sudden, what happens? The phone rings and dings, and there's a new text stating that there's a drop and there's a relocation at 6. So Vic, keep in mind, the phone that he got was from Simon, who was left at the bar to look after Gloria, that Tommy beat him up and caused the fatality. He took his phone. So Tommy's instinct is, hey, I'm finna get on in the mix. And if you know like I know, he in it to win. Okay? So Tommy shows up on the scene because he has the phone and the directions, pops up. Vic is like, huh? Where are you? So you just popping up everywhere. This just don't make no sense. Tommy, he shoots at the glass to let him know I mean business. You gonna do what I say. We gonna both go in here. Tell me what's going on. How many people supposed to be here? And we gonna make this happen. You know? And so they enter. And of course, Vic is a little irritated, like, damn, you popping up on me? And no, you're doing a bit much. But I'm going to do this because you got this armor to my head. I'm going to call these little tools of ammunition armor, or ammunition and things like that. I have to be very particular here on YouTube of the language used. So they they're going into the spot, and they're walking through, and then they come into the space where there's another guy that's inside, a black guy. And who is that? Jannard. Jannard is Diamond's brother. The black guy that just got out the penitentiary for doing 15 years. So you have these two white boys who look like they're stoners, and I ain't talking about no marijuana. They look like some meth heads or some crack heads or something. So you have the two stoners with guns in there, white guys. Then you have Jannard, and then here comes Vic. Jannard appears to know Vic. Okay? So everybody's trying to do the deal. That's the essence of this setting. Everyone's there to exchange money and drugs. Okay? Well, Tommy, who's always on everything, he peeps everything. You ain't gonna outfox Tommy. I'm gonna tell you that now. You ain't gonna outfox Tommy. No way, shape, form, or fashion. And Tommy's, he's assessing the scene. He's observing everything and everyone. And he finds out, so Vic is saying, where is Amos? And then, Jannard is wanting to know where his aim is. Vic is wanting to know. And then the guys with the guns that appear to be meth heads or something, they all shaky, don't know what to say, how to answer. It just looked like they all wet hair, greased up. It's just not a good sight. Tommy peeps that, and he like, something ain't right. So he just bogarted the whole situation. Just bogarted. And he notices that these look like some dope heads. And he calls them crack baby number 1. Give me the money. And then that's when it starts out like cowboys and Indians. So you have the two guys, Tommy, Vic, and Jannard. So they all in this shootout is taking place within this place. There's money, there's drugs, there's everything's there. And when Tommy saw that weakness in that, they appear to never have ever done a deal before. What? Y'all up in here trying to make a draft do something. These dudes don't even look like they got no money, no weight, no morals, no nothing. No. So Tommy commences to do what he do, and we're going to run it on, take it over. And he did just that. So Tommy notices that. Then Tommy knocks the man off. And then Jannard, Vic, and Tommy stay alive. So Jannard is like, man, all this going on. Who is this guy? And da-da-da-da. So they're going all back and forth. So Jannard say, man, you need to give him some money, woo, and all of this and that, because, so it's an argument in place, because your dad is going to think that CBI, Chicago Boys Incorporated, had something to do with this. Plus, no one has no money, no dope. It's just a bad look. And so he was like, man, he saved our life, man. He was like, all right. And then upon Tommy leaving, Jannard says to Tommy, hey, you can at least give me mine back. Tommy zips that bag up further and walks out. Now, you ain't getting nothing back. So, the great takeaway from this scene is that Tommy meets Jannard. He also is able to save the lives of Jannard and Vic and leave with the dope and the money and allow them to leave alive. You follow me? Okay. So the next scene, Jannard is with his brother Diamond. They're walking down the street. Diamond's fresh off lock. He fresh off lock. He on the block. He back. Shoot. I'm glad to see when a man get out of jail and back, free society. And so Jannard walks with Diamond down the street, and he's trying to explain what in the world happened at the trial. What happened? He said, man, this crazy white boy came, Bin Laden the whole thing, and dipped with the bread and the butter. Now, I'm like Diamond now. That don't sound right. What? White boy just vamoose, come up, take the bread and the butter, and you alive, and you telling me this story, and where was Vic and what? He came with Vic. They came in together. So Diamond was like, are you sure? I mean, what he was like, man, the way he was talking to Vic, that's not Vic's real people, but for some reason it was like Casper the ghost just showed up. And so that's how that is. And in that very scene, Diamond says to Jannard, we need to find Casper. So at that point, that lets us know that Tommy is sought after at this point. Everyone now has their antennas up, and people kind of want to get to understand who is Tommy and why is he here. Okay, moving along. Now, after Claudia meets with her lady friend and Vic is, done speaking with Gloria, he and his sister meet together in front of like this pier. Very beautiful scene. And they're discussing, Claude is discussing with her brother, why meet at the Yardies? So the Yardies is a term that's used in this series that we're going to have to become familiar with. So then why meet with the Yardies? And basically what she's trying to say is, why deal with a particular set of people or a particular place? And they're talking about the new, she's talking about they need a new revenue of stream of revenue. And then they're also discussing how the college kids and what's out on the street is bathtub crank, and how the rich kids and the school kids and the college kids and the druggies, they don't know the difference between the crank and the coke, and that it's okay. And Claude is like, no, we don't need to deal and delve into any small time hustles and all of that will put our real legitimate business in jeopardy. Keep in mind, Claude is the person that manages the books and the legal side. So she's always going to have an antenna on what's going to hinder our progress or cause a conflict when it comes to our business. And then she says that Walter will always blame and don't like CBI, the Chicago Boys Incorporated. So now we find that the CBI are the African Americans, the blacks in Chicago, which is pretty much Jannard and Diamond's crew. Jannard's been running CBI while Diamond's been in jail for 15 years. And so the feds are already on to the Flynn family. So that is one reason why Claude is telling her brother, come on, man, stop fooling with the Yardies and down at the Yardies. So again, we're going to find specifically what the Yardies is. Is it a place? Is it a thing? Or is it an entity? But I keep hearing about the Yardies. And And then she makes mention that Coke F's messes with our legitimate front. And just please, brother, don't be stupid. Be brave, but don't blow up. Don't mess up what we got going. Please don't. So that was a good scene and a great takeaway, because I was able to see here that they're kind of having a conflict about particular drugs to hustle. There's a sibling little rivalry there. Claude is a little bit more level-headed. We just know Claude was just on the scene at the club and asked, "Oh, girl, hey, where you get this? This is amazing. Can you get some more?" So Claude is kind of halfway networking at the same time too. So so it pans on to where Tommy's now in the car after the bus and the drop and all that's over. He Googles the Flynn family, and he also Googled Diamond and finds out about him. Unsure specifically how he was able, probably the little communication that they had with the guys at the drop, and he probably picked up on Diamond's name or the word CBI to research and Google to find out who is CBI, what's this and that. So there's a lot of pieces and things at play here, because Tommy is doing his research, doing what he do. And so that's very interesting. And then Tommy is also becoming more familiar with the Flynn family. For one, he already noticed he took Simon's phone. Simon all connected with some dope. He done went to seeing that. The guy that was outside the car when he was outside, and Vic and Simon went inside, gave him a card. So Tommy's cataloging all of this. So Jannard and Diamond, they're at a barbershop. So come to find out, Jannard has purchased a barbershop for his brother. So hopefully Diamond can stay out of trouble and run the barbershop and have a legitimate front. And he tells him everything's clean title and everything. And they have a good one-on-one about how Diamond feels that, and wants him to know that he's changed, and that all that random popping off, all of that, he's not for it. And he's done knocking people off. He's not into that anymore. He's matured. He's done his stint, and that's just not acceptable. However, the streets have changed, Diamond. The streets have changed. I may do a video over, because I've always been intrigued with Chicago and the gang culture and the life. I've had a couple of times I visited, and even before I visited, just watching Good Times and things like that, there were always rival crews, okay? But see, in today's current times, the gangs, the big main gangs of yesterday or yesteryear, they're little small cliques. So it's still gangs. It's a lot of gangs, but they're having internal rival problems. You know, they're banging against each other 2 streets over, and they're different crews and blocks and gangs, because everyone no longer lives in the projects anymore. Everyone's scattered throughout the city. So he's trying to let him know things have changed since you've been gone. You got to have a hitter out here. It's a whole different ball game. And so he was like, nah, I'm not into that. So that's going to unfold as well. So he just said things are different. So let's move along. Here, an officer enters into the barbershop. His brother Jannard leaves. Diamond remains there, and he's relishing in the moment and in the place. And then an officer enters and implies, "I caught it." The officer knows Diamond. So here we got a crooked cop. He appears to be. We'll see how it go. But you know, it always has to be one. And he asks, "Oh, you the new owner?" And proudly, Diamond said, "Yeah, I am." Then his phone goes off. Pulls his to the side, and you can see his badge and his piece. And Diamond notices it. And then he notices this is a cop. And so the cop says, "You can give me a haircut?" Diamond said, "Yeah, matter of fact, This one don't be on the house. He said, no, I always pay my way. And then he appears to exit by saying, welcome back, Diamond. And he says Diamond's name. So that's a great takeaway right there. This officer knows who Diamond is. And he came in letting Diamond know that I want you to know who I am. I'm the law. I'm 5-0. Yeah, I got my eyes on you. That's what that's about. So now the scene goes into traffic where Tommy's downtown. It appears to be bright lights, nice stores, and things like that. And he's surrounded by all of these vehicles, these Suburbans, black suburban trucks and things. And it appears to be the Flynn's affiliates, associates, workers. They get him and they take him. That same guy that acts nicely outside of Dr. Parker's office, the bar, when Simon and Vic went inside, and Tommy was able to have a halfway decent conversation with someone, and the guy gave him the card. That guy, they encompassed Tommy. They stopped Tommy, and he told him, get in the car. No, get in the car, you drive. He got in the car, and he told him where to go. And they drove up to the Finn family's house, Walter's house. And Walter and Tommy, they did a handshake. And boy, that Walter got a heavy, thick accent. My gosh, it's heavy. And so, pretty much, Walter wants Tommy to get out of Chicago. You know, far as he know, you're bad news. You done knocked off. See, I'm not sure. They didn't really show us if they knew what happened to Simon. Then the phone came up missing. And then he appears at the drop. And then here comes Vic walking in. What Tommy do? Tommy still got that bag from the drop with the money and the dope in it. And he slings it to Walter. And he kicks the bag to Vic. You know what I'm saying? So Walter knows this guy has interrupted a whole situation. Then Vic gets to meet him face to face again to see him. My dad lets you leave and my dad lets you go. Wow, what's really going on? But Vic walked in late. So Tommy commences to leave. And then he calls California and he tosses the phone. And Tommy says then, I'm staying in Chicago. He ain't going to California. So that wraps up episode 1. It's a great introduction to the show, to Tommy. We know he has a little interest in Gloria. Vic also has an interest in Gloria. Diamond and Jannard, they're brothers. Diamond wants to stay on the straight and narrow. Jannard has ran CBI while Diamond was incarcerated. So Jannard still want to get that money. He's still grinding. He's in power. He just can't let that go. And now he has to try to let his brother know, say, man, we got to move all the way different in comparison to when you were out in your time and in your day. So I foresee the two of them having to hash out issues of getting some reorganization. And if at all, Diamond going to even partake in that. But I'm going to tell you something that was also interesting, because he talked as though he was going to partake in something or be back in the business. But I guess when you have a brother that's still in it, you have no choice. You have no choice. And a lot of that I can see is what has happened today in society, and what I hear about those guys out in Chicago, that they got to have each other's back when they family, you know. And then now the gangs are rivaling against each other and within. So it's almost inevitable for Diamond to not even assist and help and aid his brother when he's been holding it down all along. Plus, Shannara got him a new shop. So it's to be expected. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you will watch it. Again, this is episode 1, Short Fuse, Long Memory. And I will be back in the very near future with episode 2.